These are the two videos that are coming up. And since one of the articles was on gray divorce, I thought that this video that I saw on Instagram would perfectly lead into it. Obviously, there's going to be tons of different reasons why people get divorced. But at this particular juncture, I think women are less likely to put up with cheating because women have options these days. So go ahead and watch this clip from Instagram and then stay tuned for these news articles that follow.
Listen, fellas, you can say whatever you want. You can listen to whoever you want. But I know a grown-ass man right now who cheated on his wife majority of their marriage. That wife left him when they got older. Kids was grown. And that man this year was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And one person that's not taking care of him is his wife. Another person that's not taking care of him is also the women that he cheated on his wife with. None of those women that were that sexual gratification over the 30 years that y'all thought was so important are helping take care of him during his prostate cancer experience. Not through chemo, not taking him to his appointments. He's literally going through this all by himself with his children trying to help because his children got children. His children got to go to work every single day. Remember, the economy bad. Remember, y'all need 50-50, so these kids got to go to work. These grown adults, 30, 40, 50 years old, got to go to work and pay these bills. And your ass dogged out your wife to the point where she ain't want to deal with you no more. And now you got stage 4 prostate cancer, fighting for your goddamn life by yourself. Now, when you think of it that way, was cheating on your wife for 30 years really worth it? Now you about to die? And you going through treatment alone? Because how many days do y'all really think that the family can take off to help your doofy ass? 120 max. And that's if they got the PTO time to cover it. Because FMLA don't mean you getting paid for it. So how many days can your daughters and your sons miss work with no pay to help your ignorant ass out? Not many.
We've already been talking about gray divorce. We've been talking about it for a while now. And with this find out season being the way it is, we're going to continue these conversations. This article is titled, As Gray Divorce Rates Rise, Women Open Up About Becoming Single After 50. The divorce rate among Americans aged 50 and older has doubled since the 1990s. A noticeable trend is emerging among couples over 50, deciding to end their long term marriages. This phenomenon, often referred to as gray divorce, has seen a significant increase, with the divorce rate for adults aged 50 and older more than doubling between 1990 and 2010. A 2022 study published in the Journals of Gerontology reveals that 36% of United States adults going through a divorce were 50 or older. Notably, the only age group experiencing an increasing divorce rate is those aged 65 and older. Susan Brown, a sociology professor at Bowling Green State University, helped coin the term gray divorce. Let me repeat that. Susan Brown is the one that coined the term gray divorce. I'm just saying that because one time someone jumped on me saying I was being ageist by talking about gray divorce. I'm just putting that out there. Women seem to be maybe a little more likely to initiate divorce, but many would argue that that could actually just be reflecting the fact that women are the ones who have to do these types of tasks within relationships. Yes, the man could leave. He could literally be out of the home and have left the relationship. And if the woman initiates it because he's gone, then she's counted as initiating the divorce, not the person that actually walked out. So just keep that in mind. Artist Edith Hike is part of a growing wave of formerly married Americans choosing to split up after age 50. I'm a septuagenarian looking for a sexagenarian, the 74-year-old told Nightline. I've got a gym guy. I have a ski partner. I'm leading the most vibrant life that I could have ever dreamed of. Hike grew up in a traditional household, but said her life experiences are far from conventional. I was raised to believe that I would be married, I would be taken care of. I never knew about divorce. I didn't know anyone that was divorced, Hike said. And I think that part of my story is that I'm the first generation of women who got the pill right when I was 18 or 19 years old. We discovered a sense of our own freedom so that we didn't have to stay married in the same way as my mother did, let's say, who wasn't able to earn a living. Hike is thriving as a single person, she said, taking on new career opportunities like managing a local waterfront park and trying out new hobbies like stand up comedy. Much like Hike, Podcaster Laura Stassi has found the single life to be refreshing. The 64-year-old was married for nearly 30 years until her then husband suggested they separate. Initially, Stassi said she felt that she had lost her identity, but regained her independence after the divorce. The fact that she said she felt that she had lost her identity is one of the main reasons why I talk about having an identity outside of just being a wife and a mom. Being a wife and a mom should not be your whole personality. She hosts a podcast called Dating While Gray, which focuses on navigating relationships and the dating scene for older adults. I don't want to throw my ex husband under the bus. I will say that I would have shouldered on in that marriage forever. And so, in many ways, I'm grateful that he gave me divorce wings. Gray divorces have been a recurring theme in pop culture, with notable depictions in films such as 1996's First Wives Club, which starred Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton, and 2009's Is Complicated, which starred Meryl Streep, Steve Martin, and Alec Baldwin. Census data indicates the divorce rate among U.S. adults over 50 doubled in the time between the release of those two movies. Some celebrities have also surprised people with their separation announcements. This trend includes prominent actors such as Streep, X-Men star Hugh Jackman, and sitcom queen Leah Remini. It also extends to billionaire philanthropists Bill and Melinda Gates and political figures like former Vice President Al Gore. All of these celebrity grade divorces are really emblematic of what's happening more broadly in our population, Susan Brown said. They also serve to normalize gray divorce in the second half of life. Brown also said that generational expectations may also play a significant role in gray divorces. A lot of it has to do with the unique life force experiences of baby boomers who came of age during the first divorce revolution during the 70s and early 80s, getting divorced en masse as young adults, and many of them went on to enter remarriages. We're finding that the attitudinal shifts have mirrored the behavioral patterns. So older adults are actually pretty supportive of divorce in the event that you find yourself in an unsatisfying marriage. The age of first time marriage has increased, just like the age of first time parenthood. And that has been a good thing because people have been able to discover who they are and what they want out of life before actually getting married, if they want to get married. And that's what many of these older folks did not experience. They were expected to get married very young before they actually had a chance to know themselves. And some of them might not have wanted to get married, but culture pushed them to get married. So that's the reason why there were so many divorces happening. And that's why many of these people are getting divorced now, because they said, F that, I lived my life for all of these people, and now I want to live my life for myself. So we're going to watch a lot of these people decouple, and we're going to watch a lot of divorces in general, just because women are getting to that F it stage. They're surpassing that tolerable level of permanent unhappiness. And so they're saying, get someone else to do it. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and go ahead and hit subscribe. This title from Salon, it hits hard. It says, Republicans don't care if women die from abortion bans, but they don't want you to know about it. And obviously, they don't want us to talk about it. So we're going to keep talking about it. It says, women will keep dying, but the GOP is working hard to destroy the evidence. Here they're using a picture of a Black pregnant woman, which makes sense. Our maternal mortality rate in this country is 2 to 3 times higher than all the other groups of women. But it's like our deaths are not taken seriously because we are Black women living in a racist and sexist country. So I'm just putting that out there, just pointing that out. After the Supreme Court ended federal abortion rights in 2022, there was a robust debate between pro and anti choice activists over whether or not banning abortion would unalive women. Pro choicers pointed to evidence from both history and other countries showing that abortion bans unalive women. Anti choice activists dismissed the record and pointed to toothless exceptions in abortion ban laws as proof that women could get abortions to save their lives. The latter argument was frustrating, not just because it was wrong, but was generally offered in bad faith. Anti abortion leaders know that abortion bans unalive women. They don't care. Or worse, many view dying from pregnancy as a good thing. In some cases, it's viewed as just punishment for sinful behavior. Other times, it's romanticized as a noble sacrifice on the altar of maternal duty. But conservatives are aware that this death fetish cuts against their pro life brand. So there's a lot of empty denials and hand waving at the inevitable and expected outcome of women dying. We now have another proof point that abortion bans are about misogyny, not life, as the first deaths from red state abortion bans are being reported. Instead of admitting they were wrong and changing course, Republicans are behaving like guilty liars do everywhere and destroying the evidence. In the process, they are also erasing data needed to save the lives of pregnant women across the board, whether they give birth or not. ProPublica has published a series of articles detailing the deaths of women in Georgia and Texas under the two states' draconian abortion bans. They most recently reported on the death of Portia Ngumazi, a 35-year-old mother of two from Texas. Ngumazi suffered a miscarriage at 11 weeks, but was left to bleed to death at the hospital instead of instead of having the failing pregnancy surgically removed. Multiple doctors in Texas confirmed that hospital staff are often afraid to perform the surgery, however, because it's the same one used in elective abortions. Rather than risk criminal charges, doctors frequently stand by and let women suffer or die. And Gumazi's youngest son doesn't fully understand that his mother is dead. ProPublica reported that he chases down women he sees in public who have similar hairstyles, calling for his mother. A day after this story was published, the Washington Post reported that the Texas Maternal Mortality Board would skip reviewing the deaths of pregnant women in 2022 and 2023. Conveniently, the first 2 years after the abortion ban went into place. Leadership claims it's about speeding up the review process. But of course, many members pointed out the main effect is that they would not be reviewing deaths that may have resulted from delays in care caused by Texas's abortion bans. This is especially noteworthy because it becomes standard after one of these reports for anti-abortion activists to blame the victims and or the doctors and not the bans. Christian right activist Ingrid Scott, for instance, responded to Ngumzi's death by insisting physicians can intervene to save women's lives in pregnancy emergencies under the Texas law. If she really believed that, however, she would desperately want the state maternal mortality board to review this and other cases like it so they could come up with recommendations for hospital staff to treat women without running afoul of the law. Straub, however, is on the Texas Maternal Mortality Board. She was likely part of the decision to refuse to look into whether women like Ngumazi might be saved. So the likeliest explanation is the simple, if brutal one. Anti abortion activists do not want doctors to save women's lives. The current situation where doctors are afraid to treat women and have no guidance on how to do so safely is a status quo they are fighting to preserve. We also know this because, as Jessica Valenti reported at Abortion Every Day last week, these same activists are lobbying to rewrite current abortion bans to remove the paltry exceptions that do exist. Instead of allowing doctors to abort pregnancies that are failing, they want to force them to induce labor instead. That is not just cruel, but will take out women. We know this because that's exactly how Ngumazi died. Her doctor gave her a drug in hopes it would push the pregnancy out rather than surgically remove it as is standard of care. The Texas decision comes on the heels of a similar move in Georgia, which dismissed the maternal mortality board members to punish them for giving journalists the facts about the deaths of two other women unalived by the state's abortion ban. Georgia's only slightly better than Texas in that they aren't even bothering to pretend this isn't a cover up. The head of the health department explicitly cited the sharing of information with outside individuals as the reason for the board being disbanded. This censorship effort doesn't just impact the data about abortion ban related deaths either. Before 2022, both Texas and Georgia had some of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country. There's been an eye popping 56% rise in pregnancy related deaths in Texas over the past few years. Anyone who actually cared about women or life would want to get to the bottom of that. But people like Scop already know what the likely answer will be. Many of these women are dying because they can't get timely abortion care. Some are dying from unsafe abortion. Some are being murdered by partners who are trying to trap them with pregnancy. There's evidence that the overall quality of OBGYN care in abortion ban states has declined as doctors flee to legally safer environments. Some will have died, like Nguzi, after being denied standard miscarriage management care. But despite claims to be pro life, anti abortion activists do not care. Instead, they are on Twitter griping about how comprehensive reproductive health care access promotes sexual promiscuity, like this person, Lila Rose. It is utterly insane that American families are forced to give $699 million a year to Planned Parenthood, which unalives 1,000 babies a day via abortion and promotes sexual promiscuity. No, seriously, this is what is their priority while women are dying. And then we got this post from Live Action saying the facts don't lie. Contraception usage leads to more promiscuity and more babies unalived by abortion. That's what they're saying. Contraception usage, condoms and birth controls. That's the problem. That's the problem. Scott also argued last year that abortion bans are justified because promiscuous behavior declines. It's tempting to point out that all five women whose deaths have been reported by ProPublica were in long term relationships or marriages. Three of the five planned to bring their pregnancies to term and died because they were denied miscarriage care. But that's the problem with vague terms like promiscuous. They draw us into debates about how much women are allowed to enjoy sex before their lives are forfeited, or how many good girls should die to punish the promiscuous ones, or how many black women versus white women need to die. So we got to throw that in there. That is the trap of misogyny. It allows women like Lila Rose or Ingrid Skop to pretend that if you submit to the sexist order and obey their arbitrary rules, you'll be saved. But these laws punish all women and girls, mothers and non mothers, wives and single women, women who've had 100 partners, and those who were virgins and raped. Abortion bans make crystal clear that to the Christian right, no woman's life is worth saving. Anyone can be sacrificed to protect their cruel patriarchal order. And the wild thing is, these bans are hurting women that do want to have babies because women who know that they don't want to have babies, they're rushing out to get sterilized. They will just escape. It's these people, these women that are staying in these actual red states because they believe that it's those women over there, those unpure women, those unclean women that need abortion care, not the women that are just experiencing miscarriages and issues and complications that come along with pregnancy. So this is going to harm women who are pure and Christian and married too. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.